Okay, we're around somewhere.
Hey, I want to do it.
Okay, thanks. I'm just gonna loosen up my tilt lock here. What's that again? Set posters behind me. Do you want to get them coming up on the platform? Okay. How's neck post? How's neck?
Ready? Hunt!
I'm sorry. I'm only getting every few words. Sorry, Matt.
Leo!
Let's go, Leo.
6 Cub Scouts. At 6. And then Girl Scouts behind them. Girl Scouts, yeah. This is these two freshmen, like I said. After this ladder. After this ladder, it's over. There's more coming. There's more coming. There's more coming. More coming. Check. Mark. There's more coming. More coming. Mark, 1, 2, 3. There's more coming. Yep, there's more coming. Okay, yeah, there's more coming. Good, Elio. Yes, I can't hear you right now, but maybe you can hear me. I don't know. Quincy, North Quincy band's coming up. If you can hear me. Q&Q band's coming up. It looks like.
Made it?
I've heard it all. This is a picture of the folks on the mice ship up in the Cecilia. I've seen a little blue water. I was told I was on the wrong side.
I can't find mine either. Absolutely. It's in this cup. The army guy.
$1. Why you didn't tell me to put my stuff? Why you didn't tell me to put my stuff?
That's a picture of the I don't know what to do. But they say, and I used to get these. I bet the same we had. See this picture where you come down, and then you turn around. Yeah. Yeah, do that before. I just went over.
You're happy birthday.
Make sure you go with the wind in your back.
And you should expect
Really?
Can I speak near you guys?
Yeah, I can go a little bit.
No, no, that's
I
fine.
want to be on the line.
No, you can go all over where mine is holy. Why are you not mine? It is holy.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. There's some seats up here if you do not want to stand. Open seats.
Dude, you're gonna tell me when I gotta salute and stuff.
Sergeant at Arms will be calling it out.
Commander, troops are assembled.
Sir, yes, sir. Carry on.
Detail! Attention! Detail! Parade rest!
Good morning and happy Veterans Day. Thank you all for attending today's parade and ceremony. At this time, I would like to ask Reverend Jack Swanson to come up for the invocation.
Uncover.
Good morning. We need to remember that Veterans Day was Armistice Day, commemorating the war to end all wars. America's participation in World War I was very brief, very bloody. Only 2.5 months of actual combat, 3 major offenses, we lost 53,000 soldiers. Let us ever remember that it is not a cliche, it is true. Freedom is not free. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we ask your blessing on these proceedings today. We honor all those who have had the honor of wearing the uniform of the United States. Bless us this day. God save the United States. Amen.
Cover.
Please join me in welcoming Quincy High School graduate and freshman at Bridgewater State College, Mallory Rimovitz, who will lead us in the national anthem.
Detail. Attention. Present. On. Present. Up.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. On.
Thank you, Mallory. It is a great honor to ask this veteran, U.S. Marine Corps, World War II veteran, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please welcome Mildred Cox.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Troops. Order arms and parade. Rest. Post colors. Parade. Rest.
Please join me in welcoming Michael Norton, Central Middle School student, to read the Governor's proclamation.
A proclamation. Whereas, since the Commonwealth's earliest days, thousands of men and women have served our country in defense of freedom and liberty. And whereas, on November 11th, 1918, after 4 years of conflict, the armistice was signed in the forest of Campaign by the Allied nations and Germany, ending World War I, the war to end all wars. And whereas, since that day, every November, people from around the nation have gathered to honor our veterans, and whereas in November 2023, the world will commemorate the 105th anniversary of the armistice that ended the fighting in World War I at 11 a.m. November 11, 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And whereas the approximately 300,000 veterans living in Massachusetts, and whereas today we are reminded of the great sacrifices and contributions our veterans have made to our country, and whereas we honor and salute those who served our country throughout the generations with honor, patriotism, and courage, and whereas it is appropriate that all Massachusetts citizens remember the bravery of those who served their country so that their dedication and sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of freedom. And now, therefore, I, Mara T. Healy, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby November 11th, 2023 to be Veterans Day, and urge all residents of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber in Boston, this 11th day of November in the year 2023, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 247th, by Her Excellence Mara T. Healy.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mike. Next, I'd like to introduce to you Commander of Quincy Veteran Council, Commander Stephen Dunley.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you, everyone, for being here. What a turnout. Thank you, distinguished guests, politicians, and all you veterans. And before I forget, happy belated birthday, Marines. And especially my favorite Marine, Millie Cox, right here. God bless you. I won't be too long, but a few words. It's my last hurrah with the Veterans Council for a while. I did this 15 years ago. I'm doing it again. We don't have too many volunteers anymore, but we're doing it. Which brings me to my point about how I heard it from a few people over the past months being said, you know, what's the next holiday after Columbus Day? And the answer you hear is Halloween and Thanksgiving. Halloween, a holiday, but we have fun on it, so I understand. But now it's Veterans Day, and it's far too forgotten. Far too many people are not turning out in our towns and cities around the nation anymore. There's very few parades, and it's actually very sad. It's not actually good at all, because once we forget our veterans and our members serving us, we will forget our protection, we will forget our safety, and we'll lose our freedom. So the job of the Veterans Council and all the posts underneath Legion, VFW, is to see that these parades continue. Because without the Veterans Day Parade and without the Memorial Day Parade, I'm sorry, without the Veterans Holiday, Memorial Day holiday, there'd be no Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, or Independence Day. So thank you all for coming today. I am almost in tears at the turnout. So God bless you and God bless America. Have a great day. Thank you.
It is a great honor to introduce to you the Mayor of Quincy, Mayor Thomas P. Koch.
Thank you, Director Cugini, certainly Commander Dunley, Reverend Swanson, distinguished colleagues in government, our veterans, Gold Star families Caldwell and Durkin, and to the people of Quincy. It's certainly a privilege and honor to bring the greetings of the city to this annual event. I'm so grateful for the service, and I speak on behalf of the Quincy, all the veterans who are here today. This is your day. We have Millie from World War II, we have members from the Korean War, we have Vietnam War, we have the Iraq, Afghanistan, Desert Storm, War on Terror. All of you have served your nation with incredible fidelity. So we're thankful for your service. And last year, some of you remember the speaker we had was Captain Chris Hill. He was a graduate of North Quincy High School. He's leading the sailors on the Eisenhower off in the Middle East. Be mindful that we have Quincy kids today serving all across the world, donning the uniform in the same tradition that we've seen generation after generation of service in our great city. And let us all be mindful as we see on the news each and every night in the paper what a troubled world we live in, and the challenges that we face in leading the world, protecting freedom, protecting democracy. We see what's going on in the Ukraine, what's going on in the Middle East, in Africa, and skirmishes all across the world. There is evil in the world, and this country has always stood for good and the protection of good. May it continue to do so. So when you're praying, whatever tradition you may have, when you're praying tonight, remember our men and women who continue to serve to protect the peace. May God continue to bless our veterans, and God bless America. Our next speaker needs no introduction. He's a great partner for the city of Quincy in his district. He's our congressman. It's been a privilege to work with him over the years on so many things, particularly during the pandemic and the challenges we faced. But more importantly, particularly on Veterans Day, Congressman Stephen Lynch has traveled dozens of times around the world in visiting our troops, always looking to try to find those kids that are from his district, particularly the ones he sponsored in the academies. So it gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce to you, no introduction needed, you know him well, he's here a lot, our great friend, Congressman Stephen Lynch.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for all your good work. And may I say congratulations on your recent re-election, well deserved. Reverend clergy, Mayor Tom Koch, Senator Keenan, House Speaker Ron Mariano, Representative Bruce Ayers, Representative Taki Chan, members of the City Council and School Committee, and of course, all of our veterans here today in attendance, and especially our Gold Star families. As we all know, and as the mayor has said, today is the day that the nation has set aside to honor our veterans, to remember the patriotism and unspeakable sacrifice rendered by those courageous Americans who have been willing to serve in our military. I'm not sure we fully appreciate the sacrifice and the difficulties embraced by those individuals and their families. And while we do set aside this one day, it's important to remember that in addition to our presence here today, which is important, and this is a wonderful gathering, this is a wonderful demonstration of our acknowledgement to signify our appreciation for how hard it has been for those who have chosen to serve. And it's equally important to remember our obligation to our veterans that goes beyond today. I happen to serve on the Oversight Committee in Congress. And part of our job is to not only oversee the Department of Defense, but also the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. We need to keep faith with the promise that we made to our veterans when they made that decision to put on that uniform on our behalf and to serve in our stead. We have to make sure that our active service military, and I see some of them here today, that their active duty service is valued, that they receive the care and the benefits that they've earned when they separate from service. That means active duty military housing that is up to standard, whether that's at Fort Hood, Texas, that I visited recently, or Fort Campbell, Kentucky, making sure that housing for young families is up to code and deserving of the sacrifice that those families are rendering. It means that when a veteran comes home after their service has ended and they learn that they may have been exposed to toxic substances, that they receive the medical care and compensation that may be due them. Last year, Congress passed the PACT Act, finally. It was signed into law by President Biden, which now makes it easier for toxic exposed veterans to receive full access to VA care and benefits for services connected to their exposure. This is the largest single expansion of veterans' benefits in decades, and it impacts about 20% of all our veterans. Whether it's burn pits in Afghanistan or Iraq, or Agent Orange, radiation, and other environmental hazards in previous wars, all those veterans are eligible for VA care and benefits. And to date, over 350,000 veterans have already received the expanded benefits provided in that bill. In addition, since 2010, there have been 65,000 suicides among our nation's veterans. And while we are proud that we have 3 of the very best VA hospitals right here in our congressional district, in Brockton and West Roxbury and Jamaica Plain, and we do have amazing groups like Home Base that works with the Boston Red Sox Foundation and Mass General Hospital to provide care not only to our veterans who are suffering from PTSD, but also to active service military who we can pull off the battlefield and provide services and rehabilitation to, and also support their families. You know, in closing, last week I had a chance to travel to Ukraine. I spent a little time with members of the 10th Mountain Division. I was very proud to see how many were from Massachusetts. Since there's a no-fly zone in Ukraine because of the missile attacks from Russian forces, you can't fly in there. So I had to take a train from Poland into Ukraine. And the tracks are all hacked up because of the military conflict there, but I had the protection of a security team from the 10th Mountain Division, and it took us 8 hours. The train had to slow down a lot. It took us 8 hours to travel by train from Poland into Ukraine. It was like being on the T. But over that 8 hours, I had a chance to sit down and talk with some of these young men and women from the 10th Mountain Division. I asked them the usual question. I asked them where they grew up, what schools they went to. But I also asked them a question that I asked them all. I asked them, what brought you to serve? What made that decision? What inspired you to put on that uniform on behalf of the American people? And even though I've asked this question hundreds, maybe 1,000 times between my trips to Iraq and Afghanistan and Somalia and Ukraine, the answers are always pretty much the same. These young soldiers told me that, well, my grandfather, he served in Vietnam. Or they say, my mom and my dad served in the Gulf War, the first Gulf War. Or I had an uncle who who served in Vietnam. It was the service of members of their families, veterans who were part of their family, that caused that inspiration that led them to serve. And I'm sure if you ask those gentlemen and those Marines in the dress blues over there, they'd probably say the same thing. So I want to thank today's veterans, not just because of your own service, your own sacrifice, your own courage, but the fact that your service during your time continues to inspire young people each and every day to make that same service and that sacrifice. And there's no place in this country that is more patriotic than the city of Quincy, and the traditions of excellence from General's Bridge and the recognition that Tom Koch has given to so many of the military leadership in this country over the years. But again, I want to thank you for the power of your example that continues to inspire the next generation of American patriots. Quincy has had a long and proud tradition of patriotic service to our nation, and it's one of my most solemn duties to nominate outstanding young men and women to our nation's service academies. People like Haley Ann Concannon, kid from Quincy High School. Her parents are Doug and Judy Concannon, and she's one of my recent appointees to West Point. She's going to graduate in the class of 2027. Andrew Arosas, also a kid from North Quincy High School. Parents are Brandon and Donna Arosas. Part of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, class of 2024. People like Justin McGaffigan of Quincy, student at Boston College High School, recent graduate. His parents are Kara and Joe McGaffigan. He's also at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, recently graduated as part of the class of 2020. That's just to name a few of the very recent. You know, my mother-in-law who lived with us, well, she would say I live with her, but she was a Gold Star sister. Her brother Arnie was killed in April of 1945 over the Rhine, just about a month before the end of World War II in Europe. And she always said that Veterans Day was her favorite day of the year, her favorite holiday, because while she carried the burden of losing her brother every single day as a Gold Star sister, she felt that on Veterans Day, she felt that her own neighborhood, her city, her state, and her country helped her carry her burden with her. So I want to thank all of you here today. It's important that you are here, and it's important that there's such a great turnout here, because I know there are Gold Star families among us, and I know that your presence here today is helping them to carry that burden. May God bless the city of Quincy, and may God keep our veterans safe and our active military safe, and may God continue to bless these United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Lynch. Next, I'd like to ask Council President Noel DeBona to come up.
Thank you, Christine. Mayor Koch, Congressman Lynch, thank you. A lot of stuff up here. Good morning. Before I say a few words, I want to recognize other elected officials that are here today. My colleagues on the City Council, Ward 1 Councilor Dave McCarthy, Ward 4 Councilor Jim Devine, Ward 6 Councilor Bill Harris, Ward 5 Councilor-elect Dan Minton. From the school committee, I'd like to recognize Kathy Hubley, Emily Lebo, and Doug Gutrow. From the Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey, and from the Plymouth County County Commissioner Greg Hanley, and from our state delegation, Senator John Keenan, and state reps Bruce Ayers and State Rep Tacky Chan. Thank you. We gather here today to honor and recognize our United States military veterans. When I arrived home from work on Thursday evening, I noticed a few school items on my refrigerator for my daughter Nora. She is a second grader at Marymount Elementary School. I'd like to share a little bit of these items with all of you. The first one, let's see if everybody up here, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. See, it says, thank you for your service. It's in hearts and stars. The second item that she came home with was a Veterans Day ABC order. And let me read it to you. Air Force, Army, Brave, Country, Coast Guard, Freedom, Marines, Navy, Soldier, and Veteran. I was very mesmerized by what was on that refrigerator. And then I also looked over on the refrigerator from my son Aiden, a third grader at Squantum Elementary School, and he had this little coloring booklet. I won't put it up because it's really windy out here today. But this little booklet says Veterans Day. And when I open up the little coloring booklet, it says people in the United States celebrate Veterans Day each year on November 11th. It is a day to remember and thank veterans for all they have done for us and our country. Veterans are people who have served in the Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, or Air Force. Some cities have a special parade to celebrate the holiday. Look at here in Quincy today. Look at this crowd that's out here. Mayor Koch, great job with that. Thank you. In the Veterans Services Department. Many restaurants give veterans free meals on this day to honor and thank them. And to thank veterans, some students make and deliver thank you cards. That was that little booklet that I came home and saw in the refrigerator. My wife values it. She put it up there as I came home. I want to thank a huge thank you to our Quincy Public Schools for teaching on the importance of Veterans Day to our children. It made a big difference to see that. And in closing, if I could, Christine, to all veterans, thank you for your service. Thank you so much.
I'd like to now introduce to you our guest speaker, Colonel Donald Garrett Greenwood, U.S. Army retired, a Quincy Police Department sergeant, currently assigned to the motorcycle unit and serves as a SWAT supervisor and department range master. He was raised in Quincy. He's a graduate of North Quincy High School. He attended Ithaca College, and as a distinguished military graduate, he was commissioned through ROTC as an active duty second lieutenant. His military education and training includes the United States Army Airborne School, Military Intelligence Officer Advanced Course, Special Forces Qualification Course, Civil Affairs Qualification Course, just to name a few. Colonel Greenwood's key assignments were with the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Liberty, North Carolina, United States Army Special Operations Command, Fort Liberty, North Carolina, the 5th Special Forces Group at Fort Campbell, Joint Special Force Operation Task Force in Iraq and Afghanistan. He commanded Special Operations soldiers across the world during multiple deployments. Please join me in welcoming Colonel, United States Army retired, Colonel Donald Garrett Greenwood.
Thank you, Christine. Good morning. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge Congressman Stephen Lynch and Mayor Thomas Koch. It's a distinct pleasure to be here. It's a distinct pleasure and true honor to be here today, speaking to you on behalf of veterans. By the way, is there anything more impressive than a sharp-looking honor guard? Sometimes they call it color guards, but really, a sharp-looking honor guard. Thank you so much for being here representing your various organizations. Very much appreciated. I would like to begin by thanking everyone, especially the veterans and their family members in the audience who have taken time from their busy schedules to commemorate one of our most important national holidays, Veterans Day. In addition, I would also like to thank everyone in the audience who knows, loves, or just supports a veteran. Whether you participated in the parade, watched the parade, or just here for the keynote speech, it is a deliberate act on your part to acknowledge the significance of Veterans Day. Originally referred to as Armistice Day in commemoration of the end of World War I, Veterans Day is always celebrated on 11 November and is, I quote, a celebration to honor America's veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. Looking out over the crowd, I can see that there are many veterans in attendance. Everyone who has served in the country as a member of the armed forces, regardless of their military experience, is a veteran who should be proud. So I would like to take this opportunity for a heartfelt round of applause for all veterans in the crowd. I must say that my presence here in front of you in uniform today represents an interesting turn of events. When I last took off my uniform in June of 2018, I never expected to wear it again. In fact, had you asked me even a month ago, I would have given you a resounding no, no, no. Of course, I kept the uniform because, as any veteran will attest, it is a powerful physical symbol and reminder of one's service. However, while I did keep the uniform, I did not keep the accompanying dress shoes, or as we refer to them in the Army, low quarters. When first approached about participating in this ceremony, my initial reaction was complete panic, dismay, and alarm. I immediately thought to myself, how am I going to walk in the parade without shoes? And more importantly, how am I going to walk in the parade without shoes in Massachusetts in November? When first contacted to give the keynote speech, I knew immediately I would say yes. Not only because it is such an honor to be asked and to represent veterans, but also because of the singular importance of Veterans Day and what it represents to us collectively as a nation. While Memorial Day honors all those who have died in military service, Veterans Day is specifically set aside to recognize the veterans of the armed forces who have served honorably. Whether a veteran served in the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard, we owe an enormous debt to all veterans, past and present, that have made a commitment to preserve our liberties and freedoms. With that being said, I can personally attest to the fact that each veteran is nevertheless partial to the branch of armed forces that they served in and will always engage in spirited debate as to which branch is the best. Veterans Day is especially important to me. I grew up surrounded by veterans, and from a very young age, I was inspired and influenced by their strong values and stories of military service. Both of my grandfathers, members of the greatest generation and proud Quincy residents, served in World War II. My grandfather, Alan Rand, served in the Navy in the Mediterranean, while my grandfather, Donald M. Greenwood, served as a crew member on Gus's bus, a B-24 Liberator that participated in one of the most successful bombing runs of World War II, and for which he received the Distinguished Flying Cross for valor. Other members of my family who influenced my decision to serve include my uncle, Captain Alan Rand, a Marine Corps veteran who's here today, my Aunt Judith Rand, a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, my Uncle Michael Rand, a retired Coast Guard Captain, and my Uncle Ronald Rand, a retired Air Force Brigadier General and one of the generals for which the General's Bridge is named. Finally, I must acknowledge the influence that my father, Donald H. Greenwood, has had on me throughout my entire life. My father is also a retired Green Beret colonel, and he inspired me with his 38 years of service to the United States Army, both as a non-commissioned and a commissioned officer. As the old expression goes, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I would also like to say that no veteran ever serves alone. Lisa Marie, my beautiful and wonderful wife of 32 years, was at my side during my entire military career. She selflessly took care of our 3 children and weathered a seemingly never-ending storm of deployment upon deployment for well over a decade. Further, I would be remiss and most likely get in trouble if I did not include my mother, Dorothy Rand, who supported me through each career milestone and provided much-needed motherly advice. In addition to my immediate families, I must acknowledge the debt of gratitude that I also owe to several veterans who are in the audience and some who are not. Specifically, retired Special Forces Command Sergeant Majors Bob Purchard and Rudy Zegda have been steady influences in my life since the 1970s, and both men represent the epitome of the quiet professional. Just as an aside, for those of you who don't know, Green Berets are commonly referred to as the quiet professionals because they work mostly in secret, unnoticed, unrecognized, and are considered to be among the finest and the most elite soldiers in America's service. A loyal friend and combat veteran, Bob has always provided me with thoughtful insight and direction when needed, and continues to work tirelessly with his wife Linda in support of veterans' causes. Rudy, a combat veteran of Vietnam and Afghanistan, has always made it his mission to check on me and make sure I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. Somehow, despite our age differences and career paths, I could always count on both Bob and Rudy to offer me exceptional leadership advice. It would be exceedingly difficult to have a failed career when you have 2 senior-ranking, non-commissioned officers providing you with guidance and mentorship. Without a doubt, I was fortunate and only able to accomplish what I did because of the unwavering support I received while serving from veterans of all ranks. In particular, I would like to acknowledge my close friend, Major Paul R. Syverson III, a Special Forces officer who was killed during a rocket attack on 16 July 2004 in Balad, Iraq. Like myself, Paul was a young major assigned to the 5th Special Forces Group. He was a highly decorated combat veteran, having served previously in Afghanistan. Paul was a great friend and only 32 years old with a wife and 2 young children when he died. When I think of Paul, I think of the pact that all veterans make with the nation when they volunteer or were drafted for service to America. Every veteran knows there is no guarantee that they will return home. Today, as I drive through Quincy, I am proud of being a veteran. I am constantly reminded of the sacrifices that veterans have made. I am often struck by the military license plates that I see for each of the services, as well as Bronze Star, Silver Star, and Gold Star license plates. I also regularly see homes throughout the city that are adorned with veteran, prisoner of war, and United States flags. A citizen of Quincy does not need to look very far to find testimony of this fact. For instance, there is the World War I Doughboy statue located behind us at Hancock Street and Furnace Brook Parkway, the World War II memorial located here, the Korean War memorial located across the street, the Vietnam Clock Tower in Marina Bay, the flag for Veterans Island at Fort Square, and of course, the iconic Veterans Memorial Stadium. These memorials stand in tribute to all the men and women who answered their nation's call for service in times of peace and war. In a similar vein, one does not need to look far from where we are standing to gain an understanding of the sacrifices that Quincy veterans are willing to make, even from our most recent conflicts. My mother-in-law, Catherine, is a longtime Quincy resident and has lived for many years on Vassal Street in Wollaston, in the same house where my wife, Lisa, grew up. Prior to 2003, I had traveled hundreds of times on Vassal Street, usually without a second thought. This changed during September 2003 when a 38-year-old soldier named Todd Caldwell was killed in action by an improvised explosive device in Iraq. Unexpectedly and unbelievably, the Iraq War came home, and it completely changed my perspective of the sacrifices that veterans make for our nation. I truly believe that collectively we owe a debt of gratitude to all veterans and must ensure that their needs are addressed when they return home from their service to the nation. While some veterans return with physical wounds that require rehabilitation and accommodation, other veterans carry with them the invisible wounds of mental trauma that can be just as debilitating. Additionally, veteran homelessness and veteran mental health issues remain all too prevalent today and have become a permanent fixture on the national landscape. I often reflect on the unnecessary anguish that Vietnam veterans suffered upon their return to an apathetic and sometimes openly hostile nation. Fortunately, we have come a long way in acknowledging the debt that we owe our veterans or our veterans. Organizations such as the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the American Legion, and the Disabled American Veterans have made it their mission to assist veterans in need and in crisis. Additionally, municipal services such as those provided by Christine Cugini, George Bouchard, and their team through the City of Quincy Department of Veteran Services provide critical referral services to all veterans. So I encourage you, those of you who know a veteran in need of services, to ensure that they take advantage of these programs for their well-being and mental health. In closing, I would like to thank Mayor Thomas Koch and his administration for all their efforts in honoring the special men and women who have stepped forward to serve our nation in a cause greater than themselves. We must always remember the contributions of our comrades in arms with profound gratitude and deep respect. Their service, selflessly rendered, sometimes at enormous cost and heavy toll, continues to preserve the precious liberties that we enjoy daily, and also helps to pave the path for our nation's prosperity. I personally salute all of those who stand before me today, whether veterans, family members, or friends. So I salute all veterans here today. Your support of veterans causes truly matters, because we are all in this together as a society. Only working together will we ensure our community remains a powerful and united voice that will ensure that all veterans feel respected, connected, and supported. Once again, thank you for your participation, and God bless America.
Thank you, Colonel Greenwood, Sergeant Greenwood.
Troops, attention!
May I ask Commander Dunley and Vice Commander Sleeman to please escort our Gold Star families to place the ceremonial wreath in honor of their family's sacrifice and in honor of all who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Please play taps.
Troops, order! Order! Arms! Oh.
I'd like to ask Reverend Jack Swanson to please come to the podium for the benediction, please.
Uncover!
Colonel Graham, you make me remember my dad today. My father was a veteran. I just recently realized he was a veteran of not two theaters of World War II, but three: the Mediterranean, the Atlantic, and the Pacific. And I remember when I was in my teens being with Dad on Prince Edward Island, beautiful red sand beach if you've ever been up there. And I remember being on the beach with Dad, and all of a sudden him saying, Borneo. And I looked at him, I said, what? And he said, nothing. Well, of course, what he was referring to was sands turned red, not by nature, but by the sin of man. Let us remember and honor all veterans this day and remember their sacrifice. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, thank you for our wonderful country. May it be worthy to those who wear and have worn her uniform. Amen.
Cover! Please be seated. Troops, parade, rest!
I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out today. Thank you to the city departments that organized and executed today's events. May we carry the spirit of Veterans Day forward, recognizing the debt of gratitude we owe to our servicemen and women is ongoing. Let us strive to create a society that cherishes and uplifts those who have given so much for our freedom. To all our veterans, thank you. We salute you. Your sacrifice and service will forever be etched in the heart of our nation. Thank you for your dedication, your bravery, and love for our country. God bless our veterans, their families, all of you, and God bless America. Thank you so much for coming out today, and this concludes our ceremony.
Troops, attention! Follow!